After the death of Joshua, Israel was led by a series of judges. For a time, the Israelites would be going along worshiping God, but then they would start worshiping idols like their neighbors, the Canaanites, were doing. The next thing you know, they were defeated by the Philistines, and God would raise up a leader to take them into battle. They would defeat the Philistines. There would be a revival. Everyone would start worshiping God again, and then they would drift off to idol worship, and the whole cycle would repeat. During this period of judges, the Israelites were led by Othniel, Gideon, Samson, Deborah, and some others. And it's during this period that the story of Ruth took place. Ruth teaches us several important things about the Messiah. First of all, she was a Gentile. This tells us that even though the Messiah comes from Israel, the salvation he brings is not for just Israel. It is a gift for all of us. Remember that God told Abraham that through him the world would be blessed. Ruth is another reminder of this promise. Secondly, Ruth was saved by a kinsman redeemer. Her husband had died and she was a widow. So according to the law, she should have married her husband's brother. But he died too, with no husband to take care of her and her mother-in-law, no son born of her marriage, and also because she was a foreigner, she was in a very vulnerable position. Her only hope was to have her dead husband's nearest relative marry her and take care of her. Enter Boaz. Boaz is not the closest cousin Ruth's husband had, but when the closest cousin decides not to marry her, the opportunity passed to Boaz. He does marry her and then redeems her dead husband's property. This redemption gave Ruth a new life, just like we have new life, because Christ redeemed us. As a final footnote to the story, Ruth and Boaz had a son, and they named him Obed. He was the grandfather of David, who became the king of all Israel. This has been A Minute at the Manger.